Hello! I thought I'd make this video because I think it'll be very interesting for me to watch back when I'm out of quarantine, if I ever get out of quarantine. So, a little backstory. Me and my friends flew into Jakarta on the 27th of June. I don't even know if you can see that. We had to stay in a quarantine hotel for 5 days, and it's now the 9th of July. And I'm still in quarantine. So basically, we landed on the 27th of June, took a taxi straight from the airport to the quarantine hotel. Checked in, did a COVID test, went to our room, stayed in our room for 4 days. On the 4th day, we had to do another COVID test, which would allow us to leave the next day. And my test came back positive. My friends were okay. So I did my test in the morning. I slept most of the day, and then I got up on the evening about tea time and had a shower. While I was in the shower, there was a knock at the door, so I quickly wrapped a towel around myself. I thought it was just the man coming to bring me my washing back. I opened the door in my towel and I was like, "Oh, hello." And he was like, "Oh, sorry miss, I'll wait." So I was like, "Oh no." Quickly ran back into my room, got dried, shoved something on, opened the door, and I was like, "Hello." And he said, "Oh miss, I'm so sorry, Emma." And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Oh, I've got some bad news." And obviously just what I wanted to hear. And he said my test results came back positive. I didn't really know what to say, so I was just like, what now? He said, "Oh, you're gonna have to go and stay at a different hotel." Obviously I said, "When will I go?" And he was like, "Tonight." I asked the man, I was like, "Are they okay, my friends?" And he was like, yeah, they're fine. So I knocked. We had a connecting door. Luckily we hadn't really been using it. We hadn't gone in each other's rooms very much at all. So I knocked on the door. I was like, "Don't open the door, I've got COVID." And my friends were obviously shocked. They were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry this has happened." I was like, "It's not your fault, you guys are fine." We were talking about it for a few minutes, and then I was like, "I've got to pack." It all happened so fast. They were being really nice. They were Googling COVID hotels in Jakarta, and they were like, "Not sure where they're gonna take you, there's about 5 hotels, da 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 da." So I quickly, packed up my suitcase, chucked everything in my bags, got changed, and sat and waited. About an hour later, someone came back for me. They took me, straight out the room, down the corridor to a back stairwell lift, down the lift, straight into the car park where I sat in a car and got taken away. I actually wasn't alone in the car. There was somebody else in there with me, a young boy. He looked, I'd say maybe about 16. We didn't speak to each other for the full journey. He wasn't English. I just kind of sat there gazing out the window thinking, I want to go home. But I can't go home. I felt like I was a prisoner being transported in the dead of night. I didn't know what to do. There was nothing I could do. I've never been to this country before. I've been in the country for 4 days but haven't left a hotel. I didn't recognise the place. We were driving through a random country that I've never been in. It was horrible. Honestly, I couldn't explain what was going through my mind at the time. I was just thinking, I don't even think there was thoughts going through my mind at the time. I was just like... But yeah, then obviously the taxi arrived at this hotel. I stepped out of the taxi, got my suitcase. They sprayed my suitcase with this disinfecting machine. I walked into the hotel. Every single member of staff was head to toe in PPE. Honestly, before I approach a member of staff here, I would not be able to tell you whether it's a man or a woman. You just, I don't know what any of the staff look like. The staff were really nice. They checked me in, explained to me you're going to be here for the next 14 days. You'll have 2 doctor visits and 2 COVID tests, one on day 10, one on day 13. They also said if I pass my COVID test on day 10, then I'm allowed to leave. I can go. So, fingers crossed. They gave me my key, told me what floor my room was on, and off I went. Then obviously I had to FaceTime my dad, let him know that I had COVID. Told like my friends and family, you know, I've got COVID, I'm in a quarantine hotel. So that's basically the story of how I ended up here. Now I'm going to talk about what it's actually like being in a quarantine hotel 7,000 miles away from home. The rooms are nice. That's my room. So I have swapped rooms since I first arrived here, but I'll insert a photo of my original room when I first arrived, and it was obviously, you know, not slept in and used. So it's nice and clean. I've got Wi-Fi, I've got a TV as well. I get given 6 big bottles of water every 3 days, which is a lot of water. Like I've still not even got through my first 6 bottles yet. They bring me 3 meals a day. Basically every single meal is rice. Rice, 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 rice. Breakfast, I wake up to chicken and rice. Lunch is more rice. Tea is rice. Every meal is rice. And that was the same in my first quarantine hotel as well. Every meal was rice. The meals are dead to me at this point. However, in the first quarantine hotel I was in, they never brought me a snack box, whereas here they bring me 2 boxes of snacks each day. They'll bring me a little box with like slices of melon in it, which is really nice. And then sometimes a little yogurt drink, sometimes no yogurt drink. They also bring me like a little box of like sweet treats. Some of them are questionable, like very bizarre. I'll open the box and think like, I've never seen this stuff in my life. But again, I'm not complaining. I mean, I kind of am. When I first arrived, I was basically eating rice. However, I've later discovered an app called Grab where I can order food to the hotel. Someone will go, like, it's just like Uber, basically. Someone will go pick it up, bring it to the hotel, and then the staff will bring it up to my room. So, thank the heavens, I've actually boycotted the rice and I now use Grab. I'm actually allowed to go outside every day for 1 hour. I've got a little, like, designated hour sheet where basically it's separated by floors and days, and it lets you know like what time you can go out on each day. So what are we on? I mean, I've not been out for a couple of days just because like I don't particularly see the point in going outside. Like I'm on the 18th floor and I don't see the point in like going all the way downstairs just to like stand in a car park or like pace up and down in a car park. Like if I want to pace up and down, I'll pace up and down in my room. So today, the hour for this floor was at 8 a.m. Tomorrow it's 10 a.m. and on Saturday it's at 4 p.m. So it changes every day. But that's nice. If you want to go outside, you have the chance for, you know, your designated hour. Like obviously I have the opportunity to leave my room. I personally just haven't been, but in my first quarantine hotel, you wasn't allowed to leave your room at all. Whereas here, like, I could walk down to reception and ask a question. So I actually had to do that because obviously I hadn't planned on getting COVID. My time to shine came and I needed some sanitary towels. So I went down to the reception. Luckily, I spoke to a woman. I just went like, you know, hello, do you have any sanitary towels I could buy, please? And she was like, sanitary towel? And I was like, and she went, oh. And then walked away and then came back with some sanitary towels, which was convenient for me. But, oh my gosh, they're so cheap here. It cost me 50p for like a full pack, which like, you know, if you're from England, you'll understand that that's really good. So I might stock up, like before I leave. I probably won't, but usually when you stay in a hotel, people will come in and change your bedding, swap your towels, like, you know, give the room a little spritz. Whereas here, obviously they can't come in, so you have to do it yourself. So every 3 days they'll bring me fresh towels, clean bedding, 6 bottles of water, and then like fresh bin bags so I can change my bins, etc. And then fresh bags for my laundry. I'm allowed to leave 2 pieces. I just basically put it in a bag, pop it on the chair outside of my room. At 9 o'clock the next morning, that's gone. And then at some point, my fresh laundry will just appear on the chair. And that's the same for meals. Like they'll do like a little knock on my door, leave the meal on the chair. I go outside, pick the meal up, bring it in, look at the rice. Obviously it's not just rice, there's pieces of melon. There's a couple of like little other random bits and bobs that come with it, like the most bizarre meal selections I have ever had in my life. So I'll like look at it, and if there's something I want to try, like there was pasta one day. I got a little portion of pasta, so I ate the pasta, then I take my box, pop it on the floor outside of my room so they know I'm done with it, and then it disappears at some point. I've had 1 doctor visit since being here. Obviously I am the foreigner, so I'm not complaining about anybody's English skills. Like I don't know their language, they don't know my language, but they try. She knocked on my door and she was like, "Hello, I'm here for your doctor visit." So she took my temperature, asked me a few questions. She didn't just ask me questions, she would lead with, "I'm not asking, but," and then ask me a question. So at one point she said to me, "I'm not asking, but do you have any complaints?" And I was like, "Oh no, everything's good here. Like, I'm okay, thank you." And then she was like, "Okay, I'm not asking." And I was just like, okay. Overall, I found my experience in a quarantine hotel quite, like, nice. Nobody's really bothered me. So I was convinced I was the only English person in this hotel. However, there is another Brit in here, and I know that because he's on this floor in one of the rooms behind me. He was obviously watching the Euros semi-final. He'd been ordering beers to his room and he was singing very loud like, "It's coming up, it's coming up." I have decided on the day of the final, if he's still in here and I'm still in here, I am gonna shout back if we win. The only other thing I would say, obviously I've not been out in this country yet, but it gets dark really early. The sun is setting and it's only 6 o'clock. I'll show you outside my window. So this is the world outside my window. Obviously I've got all the lights on in here, so it was reflecting, but yeah, it is only 6 o'clock and it's going to be dark in a few more minutes, which is quite... Even though I've been here now for what? It's 28, 29, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I've been in quarantine now for like obviously 13 days and I'm still not bored. You'd think I'd be bored out of my brains, but I'm not. Obviously I'm not saying I want to be here. Obviously nobody wants to have COVID and be in a quarantine hotel, but I'd say like I'm enjoying my stay, if that makes sense. Like I'm not enjoying it. I'm not unhappy, I'm not bored. I've been keeping up with Love Island. I haven't even like really watched anything. I haven't like binged Netflix or anything. Like I've not started anything on Netflix. I really couldn't tell you what I've been doing, but I'm okay. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go, and sleeping a lot. And that's really all I've done. Played Pokemon, slept, watched Love Island. So yeah, that's basically it. Fingers crossed I'll get a negative test result on my day 10 test, but if I don't, you know, it's not the end of the world. Worse things happen at sea. Days mean nothing to me anymore. What's 4 more days between friends here? So yeah, that's basically my getting COVID. I feel like I just like briefly touched over on the fact that I've got COVID. So I'll quickly, when he told me I had COVID, I wasn't surprised because I had been coughing and like sleeping a lot. Like I felt ill. Well, I wouldn't say I felt ill, but I wasn't feeling like the greatest. But I put it down to the fact that I was stuck in one room with no fresh air, doing nothing for 4 days. And I was thinking, you know, oh, I'll feel better when I get out of here. Turns out I had COVID. So I wasn't like mega shocked. Then obviously, like when I came here, same scenario. I had a cold and a cough, was sleeping a lot. And something I hadn't realised, because all the food here is so bland, every meal is like boiled rice and every drink is water. Like I hadn't realised that my taste had gone. So that was another symptom that I had. Like I realised that when I finally got some flavour in my life, I was like, oh, I can't taste anything. So yeah, that's basically my COVID experience. Just a cold and a quarantine hotel. Anyway, it's dark now. I'm gonna go and close my curtains and do nothing. Bye.